Today we're talking about my reactions to the new releases from LVMH Watch Week. Hi everyone and welcome to Shah Lusso, and yes, today we are talking about my reactions to the new releases from LVMH Watch Week. We got a ton of releases from Bulgari, Zenith, Hublot and Tag Heuer, so I'm just going to point out my favorites and then I'd love to know you guys' favorites in the comment section below. Now out of the gate, I'm going to talk about the Zenith triple calendar. I've always loved the Zenith triple calendars in the past. If you look at the El Primero 400 based ones, they were always really classy, and I'd been waiting for them to reintroduce one into the collection. Of course, the new movement is based on the El Primero 3600, so it still has that crazy 1/10 of a second's hand, but it now features a triple date, so it has a day, the date, and the month, and it also has a moon phase. Interestingly though, they haven't used the Chronomaster Sport or even the Chronomaster Open as a template for this new model. Instead, what they've done is they've put it in the Chronomaster Original. So it goes after that 1960s design, and apparently this was actually a recreation of what was an original prototype from that era. And this is something that Zenith has also done a really good job at in the last few years, is just digging out designs from their back catalog, things that weren't released or that were maybe limited in the past, and introducing them into their current collection. Apart from that, they did also release a few different colorways for the Chronomaster Sport. Chief among them was the all green version, so this is similar to both the Aaron Rodgers version that came out last year, as well as what they showed at Only Watch, where they had a few different colored ceramic bezels for the Chronomaster Sport, and they also introduced a gem set version of the rose gold version of the Chronomaster Sport. But without a doubt for me, the big highlight is the introduction of that triple calendar. Next we move on to Tag Heuer, which continues its run of introducing vintage inspired watches into the Carrera collection. And personally, I don't have a problem with this because, as I said in my video about the Carrera O2, I think they finally hit the nail on the head when it comes to making the perfect blend of modern and vintage in a regular production Carrera. So now this follows the tradition of what they've done with the glass box and the skipper of introducing these vintage inspired reissues that still feature the new movement on the inside and introduce some of the quirkier takes on the Carrera. In this case, the new Carrera Dato features a single sub-register for the chronograph and then a date at 9 o'clock, that glass box design. So something a little bit different, probably not going to be a huge hit or a huge volume piece, but again, an homage to Tag Heuer's history and a great way for them to just do something a little bit different to what they have as their regular production line. When it comes to Hublot, they had two main releases. The first one was a full green sapphire crystal Big Bang, but the big one is their new MP Tourbillon. Now, MP is normally a designation that Hublot does for its masterpieces, watches that are really focused on the movements. They're more of a showcase of what they can do, but are really important in my view, especially when you consider most people will shit on Hublot saying that, oh, they only make watches for a certain aesthetic, they don't do anything with the movements, they're all Solida movements on the inside. Yeah, for the entry-level Big Bangs and Classic Fusions, that's the case. But it's watches like this MP that I think remind people that Hublot knows how to make a serious watch as well. This particular one innovates in the fact that it has a cylindrical rotating display to show the hours and minutes, and it has two vertically oscillating weights. So instead of a rotor weight that spins around, it has two weights that move up and down. While maybe that doesn't seem as groundbreaking as it is when you describe it, but when you consider that this is something totally different to what most watches use when they're using automatic weights, then it becomes a little bit more impressive. And when you look at it from a concept, they have essentially made the movement the highlight of this watch in its entirety. There's no dial, there's not really much of a case. It's pretty much all movement. And that again reminds you that Hublot knows what they're doing when it comes to movements. You just need to take a closer look and not look at what their main volume production is. And then last but not least, we have Bulgari, which introduced more two variants in terms of material, and this was of course yellow gold. Bulgari is reaching back into its historical significance with yellow gold. Think sort of the 90s and the 80s where yellow gold was all the rage. They introduced the Octo Finissimo in a full yellow gold case with a blue dial, and also the Bulgari in a yellow gold case. The latter is important because the Bulgari has its roots in the 80s, so introducing this sort of 80s vibe with the full yellow gold It's really going back to its history, and I think it's great because it highlights the fact that Bulgari actually has some watchmaking history to lean on. This isn't some random jewelry brand that just started making watches. And now when you consider their modern work like the Octo Finissimo, you know they're serious about it too. Of all of these, I think it should be no surprise, my favorite is of course the Zenith. That's because owning a Zenith, I have a little bit of a bias to them, but also it's a complication and a combination that I really loved from the Zenith back catalog, so I'm glad they've brought it forward in a modern iteration and using the new movement as well. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of all of these new releases and what do you want to see from the future from LVMH brands? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Of course, if you like this video, then make sure you like it and share it. If you want to see more pictures and infographics of watches as featured throughout this and all my other videos, then make sure you follow me on Instagram at Lusso. If you want to see more videos of watches, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. And you can also check out my playlist for more content. But thanks for joining me on this quick overview of the new releases from LVMH Watch Week, and we'll catch you on the next video.